Imagine a life brimming with endless possibilities, a canvas of boundless potential where dreams know no limits, yet finding yourself ensnared by an intangible, invisible force that holds you back. This force creates a profound inner conflict, one that feels insurmountable, as though no resolution could ever be reached. What if I were to reveal that by deeply understanding this internal struggle, you could fundamentally transform the way you perceive yourself, your purpose, and your place within the vast tapestry of the world? Today, we set forth on an illuminating expedition through the profound psychological wisdom of Carl Gustav Jung, delving into the intricate concept of the Puer Aeternus, or the eternal child. This archetype holds significant implications for personal growth, self-fulfillment, and the quest for a meaningful life in our modern era. I invite you to stay with me until the conclusion of this exploration, where I will unveil the most transformative realization about this archetype, a revelation that could serve as the key to unlocking the hidden door to your own awakening and self-discovery. The term Puer Aeternus, derived from Latin, translates to eternal youth or eternal child, encapsulating the youthful, childlike spirit that resides within many of us. On its surface, this archetype radiates with vibrant qualities, unbridled creativity, inexhaustible energy, and an unwavering commitment to chasing dreams that seem to stretch into infinity. It evokes images of boundless imagination, where the world is a playground of possibilities waiting to be explored. However, beneath this luminous exterior lies a darker, more complex shadow, a profound and often agonizing struggle with the weight of responsibility, the demands of maturity, and the stark realities of adult life. Carl Jung, the eminent Swiss psychologist, employed this archetype to describe a psychological pattern observed in individuals who cling tenaciously to an idealized vision of youth, resisting the inevitable call to embrace the challenges and obligations of adulthood. But what does the Puer Aeternus signify in the context of our contemporary world? Pause for a moment and consider the countless individuals, spanning generations, from the young to the seasoned, who appear to linger in a state of perpetual adolescence. These are people captivated by grandiose visions of what their lives could become, yet immobilized by an underlying fear of confronting the gritty truths of reality. They are enchanted by the allure of what might be, but paralyzed by the weight of what is. Perhaps you too have felt this internal tug-of-war, a deep yearning for freedom, adventure, and the unencumbered pursuit of your passions, juxtaposed against a simultaneous dread of commitment, accountability, and the sacrifices that adulthood demands. This dichotomy is the essence of the eternal child, a force that both inspires and confines. The eternal child is far more than a mere youthful spirit. It is a deeply ingrained psychological archetype that manifests in both subtle and profound ways, shaping our behaviors, choices, and perceptions. It may surface in our reluctance to settle into stable routines, our avoidance of meaningful, purpose-driven work, or our relentless pursuit of novelty, excitement, and fleeting pleasures at the expense of long-term stability and growth. This archetype is as seductive as it is perilous, offering the tantalizing illusion of infinite possibilities while surreptitiously undermining our potential for true development. It promises a life of endless horizons, yet often leaves us tethered to unfulfilled dreams and unrealized aspirations. Carl Jung believed that the Puer Aeternus represents a critical imbalance within the psyche. On one hand, it embodies the vibrant spark of creativity, imagination, and the capacity to envision a world beyond the mundane. On the other, it serves as an escape mechanism, a retreat from the harsh, unyielding truths of reality that demand discipline, sacrifice, and resilience. In Jungian psychology, the task is not to suppress or eradicate this archetype, but to integrate it, to harness its boundless energy and channel it into pursuits that are both meaningful and enduring. Have you ever found yourself caught in the tension between dreaming of an idealized future and feeling paralyzed, unable to take the concrete steps needed to bring those dreams to fruition? This inner conflict is the hallmark of the eternal child. It whispers seductive promises of perfection, limitless freedom, and a life unburdened by constraints, yet frequently leaves us feeling empty, disconnected, and unfulfilled, as though we are perpetually chasing a mirage. Jung cautioned that living under the shadow of the Puer Aeternus can lead to a life marked by chronic dissatisfaction, where contentment remains elusive and fulfillment feels just out of reach. He observed this pattern as a byproduct of modern society, where the relentless pressures of adulthood often collide with a cultural narrative that glorifies youth, spontaneity, and unfettered individuality. In a world that celebrates the carefree, the novel, and the unattached, the eternal child finds fertile ground to thrive. Yet this very environment can exacerbate the struggle to mature and embrace responsibility. In his extensive writings, Jung underscored the critical importance of confronting this inner child, not with the intent to destroy or banish it, but to transform it into a wellspring of wisdom, strength, and resilience that can guide us toward a more balanced existence. How, then, do we begin to confront this archetype within ourselves? How do we navigate the delicate balance between our longing for freedom and the inescapable necessity of responsibility? These are the pivotal questions we will explore as we proceed. First and foremost, we must recognize that the Puer Aeternus is not inherently negative. Far from being a flaw, it is a reservoir of immense potential, a vibrant source of creativity, innovation, and the capacity to dream beyond the confines of the ordinary. The challenge arises when this energy remains unchecked, undirected, and unmoored from purpose, leading to a life characterized by ephemeral pleasures, scattered efforts, and dreams that never materialize. Jung posited that the key to personal growth lies in acknowledging the presence of this inner child, without allowing it to dominate our actions or dictate our choices. This journey of integration demands self-awareness, courage, and a willingness to face the fears that keep us anchored in the safety of the eternal child. It requires us to confront our anxieties about failure, rejection, and loss. Fears that often compel us to retreat into the familiar comfort of youthful illusions rather than venture into the unknown. It entails embracing the discomfort of growth, stepping boldly into uncharted territory, and resisting the urge to recoil into the safety of what is known and predictable. As we move forward, we will delve into the practical steps and strategies for achieving this transformation, exploring the tools Jung proposed for integrating the Puer Aeternus into a life that is both balanced and deeply fulfilling. We will uncover the deeper truths that lie at the heart of this archetype, truths that have the power to lead us not only to personal fulfillment, but also to a richer, more profound understanding of our shared humanity. For now, I invite you to pause and reflect on a question that may resonate deeply. How often do you find yourself torn between the vibrant, unbridled dreams of your inner child and the sobering responsibilities of your adult self? Take a moment to ponder this as we continue, for the insights you uncover may fundamentally alter the way you perceive your life, your potential, and your path forward. The Puer Aeternus is intricately woven into the fabric of human existence, embodying the eternal tension between our desire for boundless freedom and our need for structure, meaning, and purpose. In Jung's perspective, this archetype often emerges during pivotal moments of transition, times when we are called to reassess our choices, our paths, and the lives we have constructed. Adolescence, with its whirlwind of discovery and rebellion, midlife, with its introspective questioning of purpose, and even the later stages of life, with their reflections on legacy and fulfillment, can all awaken the eternal child within us. These are moments when we are prompted to question the roads we've traveled and the destinations we've chosen, often stirring a longing for the simplicity and wonder of youth. But why does the Puer Aeternus wield such profound influence over our psyches? To answer this, we must delve deeper into its origins, which Jung traced to the collective unconscious, a shared repository of archetypes, symbols, and primal patterns that shape the human experience across cultures and eras. The eternal child is a universal archetype, a reflection of our collective yearning for innocence, wonder, and the infinite possibilities that characterize youth. It harkens back to a time before the weight of responsibility, the sting of hardship, and the complexities of adult life became our daily reality. A time when the world seemed to shimmer with promise and potential. Yet, this very longing, while beautiful, can become a trap, ensnaring us in a cycle of nostalgia and avoidance that prevents us from fully engaging with the present. Consider the ancient Greek myth of Icarus, a poignant allegory for the dangers of the Puer Aeternus. Icarus, a young boy gifted with wings crafted from wax and feathers, soared toward the heavens, driven by youthful ambition and the intoxicating allure of boundless freedom. His wings symbolized his dreams, his aspirations, and his desire to transcend the limitations of the earthly realm. Yet, despite the warnings of his father, Daedalus, to fly neither too high nor too low, Icarus ascended ever closer to the sun. The heat melted his wings, and he plummeted into the sea, his dreams shattered by his refusal to heed the boundaries of reality. Like Icarus, those who dwell solely in the realm of the eternal child risk being consumed by their illusions, chasing unattainable ideals only to crash when the truths of life assert themselves. This myth serves as a powerful metaphor for the perils of over-identifying with the Puer Aeternus. The promise of freedom, escape, and endless possibility is undeniably seductive, but it comes at a steep cost. Relationships may falter, careers may stagnate, and personal growth may be stunted when we refuse to embrace the responsibilities and realities of adulthood. The eternal child inspires us to dream, to imagine, and to reach for the stars. But dreams without action, without grounding, are like seeds scattered on barren ground. They cannot take root or flourish. Jung recognized this danger and offered a path forward, a way to transcend the limitations of the Puer Aeternus while preserving its invaluable gifts. He called this process individuation, a transformative journey toward becoming a whole, integrated self. Individuation, in Jung's philosophy, is the process of reconciling the disparate aspects of the psyche to achieve a state of wholeness. It requires us to confront the eternal child within, to embrace its creativity, wonder, and boundless imagination while also acknowledging its shadows, the fears, resistances, and immaturities that hold us back. This journey demands courage, self-reflection, and a willingness to face our deepest insecurities, including the fear of failure, the dread of imperfection, and the discomfort of accepting life's inevitable limitations. Individuation is not an easy path. It is a rigorous, often uncomfortable process that calls for introspection and the examination of the beliefs, behaviors, and patterns that keep us tethered to a state of perpetual adolescence. Jung believed that this inner work is essential for personal growth, as it enables us to transform the raw, untamed energy of the eternal child into something constructive, purposeful, and enduring. By integrating this archetype, we can harness its power to fuel our creativity, ignite our ambitions, and enrich every facet of our lives. But what does this integration look like in practical terms? How do we move from the abstract realm of psychological theory to the tangible reality of everyday life? It begins with self-reflection, a deliberate and honest exploration of our inner world. Jung encouraged us to ask challenging, introspective questions. What are we avoiding by clinging to the eternal child? What fears, insecurities, or unresolved conflicts lie beneath our reluctance to grow and mature? These questions are not intended to shame or criticize, but to illuminate the hidden corners of our psyche, shedding light on the forces that shape our choices and behaviors. The next step is action, taking small, meaningful steps toward responsibility, accountability, and purposeful living. This might involve pursuing a long-cherished dream with discipline and focus, committing to a relationship with sincerity and emotional depth, or simply showing up for ourselves in a consistent, authentic way. Each step, no matter how modest, moves us closer to a life that is balanced, fulfilling, and aligned with our deepest values. For example, consider the act of starting a new project or career path. The eternal child may inspire the initial spark of enthusiasm, but it is the adult within us, armed with perseverance and structure, that transforms that spark into a sustained, meaningful endeavor. Jung also emphasized the critical role of relationships in the process of individuation. The eternal child often struggles with intimacy and connection, recoiling from the vulnerability that deep, authentic relationships require. This fear of being truly seen, of exposing our flaws and insecurities, can keep us isolated and disconnected. Yet, it is through relationships, with friends, family, mentors, or partners, that we learn to grow, to give and receive love, and to find meaning beyond the self. By embracing the challenges of connection, we can begin to heal the wounds of the Puer Aeternus, discovering the profound joy and fulfillment that come from shared growth and mutual support. As we reflect on these ideas, it's important to consider the broader cultural and societal forces that shape the eternal child. In many ways, modern culture actively encourages us to remain in a state of perpetual adolescence. From the relentless glorification of youth, beauty, and spontaneity, to the seductive allure of instant gratification, we are bombarded with messages that feed the archetype of the Puer Aeternus. Social media, in particular, plays a powerful role in perpetuating this illusion, presenting a curated, idealized version of reality that often leaves us feeling inadequate, unfulfilled, and perpetually behind. These external influences can amplify the eternal child's resistance to maturity, making the task of integration all the more challenging. Yet, within these challenges lies a profound opportunity. By recognizing the impact of these cultural forces, we can begin to reclaim our agency, making conscious, intentional choices about how we want to live. We can choose to embrace the wisdom and creativity of the eternal child without being consumed by its shadows. We can honor our dreams, aspirations, and passions while also committing to the hard work, discipline, and resilience required to bring them to life. As we continue this journey, we will explore a range of tools and strategies to help us navigate this delicate balance, from the practice of mindfulness and self-awareness to the rich insights of Jungian psychology. These practices can serve as guides, illuminating the path toward a more integrated, authentic, and purposeful existence. For now, I invite you to reflect deeply on your own experiences with the eternal child. Where do you see this archetype manifesting in your life? How has it shaped your choices, your relationships, and your sense of self? These reflections are the first steps on a transformative journey toward greater self-awareness, growth, and fulfillment. A journey that holds the promise of profound personal and collective transformation. Having identified the presence of the Puer Aeternus and explored its multifaceted manifestations in our lives, let us now turn our attention to the process of integration. To integrate this archetype is not to reject or suppress it, but to transform it into a source of strength, creativity, and purpose. This transformation lies at the heart of Jung's concept of individuation, a lifelong journey toward becoming a whole, harmonious self, where every aspect of the psyche is acknowledged, accepted, and brought into balance. Integration is about honoring the gifts of the eternal child, its imagination, curiosity, and zest for life, while guiding its energy into pursuits that align with our deepest values and aspirations. The first step in this process is confronting the shadow of the Puer Aeternus. In Jungian psychology, the shadow represents the unconscious, often repressed aspects of ourselves, those fears, insecurities, and unresolved conflicts that we prefer to ignore or deny. For the eternal child, the shadow often manifests as resistance. Resistance to responsibility, to the limitations of reality, and to the vulnerability required for growth and connection. To face this shadow, we must cultivate radical self-honesty, looking inward with both courage and compassion. This means acknowledging the parts of ourselves we'd rather keep hidden, the immaturities, the fears, and the patterns of avoidance that keep us trapped in a state of perpetual youth. While this process can be daunting, it is an essential step toward reclaiming our agency and breaking free from the unconscious forces that shape our lives. Carl Jung famously stated, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." By bringing the shadow into the light of awareness, we take the first step toward liberation, empowering ourselves to make choices that align with our true selves. One practical way to explore the shadow is through journaling, a powerful tool for self-discovery. Set aside time to write about the patterns you observe in your life, the dreams you chase with fervor but abandon when obstacles arise, the responsibilities you avoid out of fear or discomfort, the relationships you struggle to maintain due to a fear of commitment or vulnerability. Ask yourself probing questions. What am I afraid of losing by embracing responsibility? What insecurities or unresolved wounds lie beneath my reluctance to grow? These questions are like keys, unlocking the door to deeper self-understanding and paving the way for transformation. Another invaluable tool for integrating the Puer Aeternus is mindfulness, the practice of observing our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without judgment. Mindfulness allows us to recognize when the eternal child is influencing our decisions, whether it's the urge to flee from a challenging task, the temptation to chase fleeting pleasures, or the impulse to avoid difficult emotions. By pausing and observing these tendencies with curiosity and compassion, we create space to choose a more conscious, intentional response. For example, when we feel the urge to abandon a project because it feels too difficult or monotonous, mindfulness enables us to sit with that discomfort, explore its roots, and decide whether to persevere or pivot, rather than reacting impulsively. As we confront the shadow, we must also nurture the gifts of the Puer Aeternus. The eternal child is not merely a source of immaturity or escapism. It is a wellspring of imagination, curiosity, and wonder, qualities that can infuse our lives with joy, creativity, and a sense of possibility. The challenge is to channel these gifts into constructive, meaningful pursuits, projects, relationships, and goals that resonate with our core values and long-term aspirations. Consider the example of an artist whose creativity is sparked by the eternal child's passion for exploration and self-expression. Without structure, discipline, and a commitment to follow through, this creative energy can become scattered, leading to frustration, unfinished projects, and a sense of stagnation. By balancing the freedom of the child with the focus and resilience of the adult, the artist can transform their dreams into tangible, enduring works of art that inspire and uplift others. This balance between freedom and focus is not limited to creative endeavors. It applies to every aspect of our lives. In our daily routines, we can harness the energy of the eternal child to approach challenges with curiosity, openness, and a sense of adventure. Instead of viewing obstacles as burdensome or insurmountable, we can reframe them as opportunities for growth, learning, and discovery. This shift in perspective allows us to engage with life more fully, transforming even the most mundane tasks, whether it's completing a work assignment, managing household responsibilities, or navigating personal relationships, into moments of presence, purpose, and meaning. As we navigate this journey of integration, it's essential to surround ourselves with a supportive community. Jung emphasized the profound importance of relationships in the process of individuation, recognizing that friends, mentors, and loved ones serve as mirrors, reflecting our strengths, weaknesses, and blind spots. They offer encouragement, accountability, and perspective, helping us see ourselves more clearly and stay committed to our growth. However, relationships can be particularly challenging for those influenced by the Puer Aeternus, as the eternal child often recoils from the vulnerability and commitment that deep connection demands. The fear of being truly seen, of exposing our imperfections and insecurities, can lead to emotional withdrawal or superficial interactions. To overcome this fear, we must learn to embrace vulnerability as a strength rather than a weakness. Vulnerability is the gateway to genuine connection, allowing us to be seen, understood, and supported in our journey. By opening ourselves to others, sharing our struggles, dreams, and aspirations, we not only deepen our own understanding, but also inspire those around us to embark on their own paths of growth and self-discovery. This brings us to a critical insight. The integration of the Puer Aeternus is not a solitary endeavor. It is a process that unfolds within the context of community, connection, and shared humanity. By engaging with others, we create a ripple effect, fostering a culture of growth, authenticity, and mutual support. Let us pause to consider the broader implications of this work. The struggle with the eternal child is not merely an individual challenge. It is a reflection of a larger cultural and societal dynamic. In a world that often prioritizes instant gratification, superficial success, and the glorification of youth over long-term fulfillment, we are collectively called to balance the dreams of youth with the wisdom of maturity. By undertaking this work on a personal level, confronting our inner child, integrating its gifts, and embracing our responsibilities, we contribute to a broader cultural shift. We become part of a movement toward a more balanced, integrated society that values both creativity and accountability, freedom and connection, individuality and community. As we approach the final part of our exploration, I invite you to reflect on how you can begin integrating the Puer Aeternus into your own life. What dreams are you ready to pursue with focus, discipline, and unwavering commitment? What responsibilities are you prepared to embrace with courage, grace, and a sense of purpose? These questions are not merely about self-improvement. They are about self-actualization, the process of becoming the fullest, most authentic version of yourself. They are about stepping into your potential, honoring the vibrant energy of your inner child, and grounding it in the wisdom, resilience, and strength of your adult self. As we reach the culmination of our journey, it is time to unveil the ultimate lesson of the Puer Aeternus, a revelation that transcends mere understanding and invites us to transform our relationship with this archetype and, in doing so, transform ourselves. At its core, the Puer Aeternus embodies a profound paradox. It represents both the boundless potential of youth and the limitations that arise from avoiding the challenges of growth. To integrate this archetype is to embrace the tension between these opposites, to find a way to honor the dreams, creativity, and wonder of the eternal child, while stepping boldly into the grounded wisdom, discipline, and resilience of the adult. Carl Jung believed that the key to resolving this paradox lies in what he termed the union of opposites, a central tenet of his philosophical and psychological framework. The union of opposites emphasizes the need to reconcile conflicting aspects of the psyche: freedom and responsibility, spontaneity and discipline, imagination and practicality, to achieve a state of wholeness and balance. For the Puer Aeternus, this means finding a way to balance the exuberant, carefree energy of youth with the structured, purposeful focus of maturity. It means recognizing that these qualities are not mutually exclusive but complementary, each enhancing and enriching the other. But how do we achieve this balance in practical, everyday terms? It begins with a fundamental shift in perspective, a reframe of how we view responsibility. Rather than seeing responsibility as a heavy burden or a constraint on our freedom, we can view it as an opportunity, a chance to create a life of meaning, purpose, and lasting impact. Responsibility does not stifle our dreams. It provides the structure, direction, and foundation needed to bring them to fruition. By committing to the hard work of growth, whether it's pursuing a career goal, nurturing a relationship, or cultivating personal resilience, we lay the groundwork for a life that is both deeply fulfilling and authentically free. Consider the ancient tradition of alchemy, which serves as a powerful metaphor for the integration of the Puer Aeternus. In alchemical lore, the goal was not merely to transform base metals into gold, but to achieve a profound inner transformation, a journey of turning the raw, unrefined elements of the self into something of unparalleled value. The alchemist's work required patience, discipline, dedication, and an unwavering commitment to the process, even in the face of setbacks and uncertainty. The result, however, was extraordinary. A substance of immense beauty, worth, and enduring significance. In the same way, integrating the Puer Aeternus demands effort, perseverance, and a willingness to embrace the challenges of growth. Yet, the outcome is a life of profound richness, depth, and meaning. A life that reflects the best of both the child and the adult within us. This transformation is not about abandoning the eternal child or suppressing its vibrant energy. Rather, it is about guiding that energy, channeling it into pursuits that align with our higher goals and deepest values. This requires clarity of purpose, knowing what we want to achieve and why it matters to us. It also demands resilience, the ability to stay committed to our path, even when faced with obstacles, doubts, or moments of discomfort. Jung often spoke of the importance of discovering one's true self, the authentic core of who we are beneath the layers of conditioning, fear, and societal expectations. The eternal child can aid us in this quest, reminding us of our dreams, passions, and the sense of wonder that fuels our aspirations. But it is the adult within us, equipped with strength, wisdom, and determination, that has the power to bring those dreams to life. One of the most profound lessons of the Puer Aeternus is the realization that freedom and responsibility are not opposing forces. They are two sides of the same coin. True freedom is not the absence of responsibility or the ability to live without constraints. Rather, it is the power to choose how we live our lives, with intention, integrity, and a deep commitment to our values. It is the freedom to pursue our passions while remaining grounded in our commitments, to dream boldly while taking consistent, purposeful action. This insight challenges the modern cultural narrative that often glorifies independence, self-interest, and escapism at the expense of connection, accountability, and purpose. It reminds us that a meaningful life is not one of endless avoidance or fleeting pleasures, but one of engagement. Engagement with our goals, our relationships, and our innermost selves. As we integrate this understanding, we begin to see the eternal child not as a weakness or a flaw, but as a precious gift. Its boundless energy inspires us to explore new horizons, to create with passion and originality, and to imagine possibilities beyond the ordinary. Its presence reminds us of the wonder, beauty, and joy that permeate life, even in the face of hardship or adversity. By embracing this archetype, we reclaim our capacity for play, creativity, and spontaneity, qualities that are essential for a balanced, vibrant, and fulfilling existence. Yet, we also recognize the need to temper this energy with the wisdom, discipline, and resilience of the adult self, creating a dynamic interplay that allows us to live fully and authentically. The journey of integrating the Puer Aeternus does not end with personal growth. It extends outward, influencing the world around us. When we confront our inner child and step into the fullness of our adult selves, we become better equipped to contribute to our communities, our relationships, and society as a whole. We become role models, demonstrating that it is possible to honor our dreams while embracing our responsibilities, to live with both creativity and accountability. The work we do on ourselves creates a ripple effect, inspiring others to embark on their own journeys of growth and transformation, and fostering a culture that values balance, authenticity, and connection. By integrating the eternal child, we not only transform ourselves, we contribute to the creation of a world that celebrates both the vibrancy of youth and the wisdom of maturity, the freedom of imagination and the strength of commitment. This is the broader impact of our inner work, a legacy that extends far beyond our individual lives and touches the lives of those around us. As we conclude this exploration, I invite you to reflect on the journey we have taken together. We began by delving into the alluring yet challenging nature of the Puer Aeternus, exploring its origins, manifestations, and implications in our lives. We then examined the process of integration, learning how to balance the gifts of the eternal child with the wisdom and strength of the adult. And now, we have uncovered the ultimate lesson of this archetype, a lesson that holds the power to transform not only our understanding of ourselves, but also our approach to life and our place in the world. So, I leave you with a series of vital questions. What will you do with this knowledge? How will you honor the vibrant, creative energy of the eternal child within you while stepping boldly into the fullness of your adult self? How will you balance your dreams with the responsibilities that ground and sustain them? These are not simple questions, nor are their answers easily found. Yet they are essential, for the insights you uncover will shape the course of your journey, guiding you toward a life of balance, fulfillment, and profound meaning. Thank you for joining me on this illuminating exploration of the Puer Aeternus. If this discussion has resonated with you, I encourage you to share your thoughts, reflections, and insights. Let us continue this conversation, supporting one another on the path to growth, transformation, and self-discovery. Together, we can create a community of individuals committed to living authentically, embracing both the dreams of youth and the wisdom of maturity, and contributing to a world that reflects the best of what it means to be human. Thank you for looking, and may your journey be one of profound awakening and enduring fulfillment.